I could teach you everything I know.
Revealing the unseen mysteries, but never thinking what it seems. It'll blow your mind outside you, seek you find the realms of possibilities. Connect with the infinite intellect to receive other positive energy. Reciting the sacred mantras to lift you to higher frequencies. Archives and constellations, star signs. When the planets align, new paradigms and paralyzed. From the visit of the succubus at nighttime. Hypnotized, sometimes when I watch us flying to the sunrise. It'll set you free from the unbelief. It'll break your mind from the confines. Spirits leaving, changing seasons. Principalities undefeated over a certain region. Shamanic novice with knowledge, commune with higher beings. With a deeper meaning, the reason. Solomonic magic in Jesus with the truth of channeling demons. I'm thrown off sort of this portal to the paranormal. Hearing these voices speaking to me with spirit touches immortal. With a knife in my back and I bleed through the scars. As I am, you see through my flaws. Staring at the stars and the rhythm remorse. Never open at the doors of the Ouija board.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point, enter the void. This is fractal math, holographically enjoy. Darkness we can't avoid, enter the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Into the void.
Enter the ritual, step in the temple, connect with the spiritual realm. Metaphysical to the etherical pathways beyond the physical world. You could ascend to the kingdom of heaven or sit and stay living in hell. Mystical with the dark and lyrical shaman lifting a spell. Witness the miracle traveling beyond the body, see this is a shell. And you in the third dimensional prism that got us in prison in cells. Sit between 4 and 20, yo, the split into 12s. Shh. You can hear them whispering if you listen it well. Came to awaken the ancient of days, man I stay ringing the bell. Mythical know from the place where the wicked fell back to the kingdom of hell. Blessed with the wisdom performing the exorcism, the sins get expelled. So we are the demons and angels, balance the energies within yourself. I'm trying to find a path between the light and the dark. I'm writing to spark a link between the mind and the heart. We gotta unite both sides before they divide us apart. Said we gotta unite both sides before they divide us apart.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point, enter the void. This is fractal math, holographically enjoy. Darkness we can't avoid, enter the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Into the void.
Now I'm good with nothing. Why y'all good for nothing? My 100,000 pedal loaders, dopamine over flooded. Stargate runnings, dragons out the dungeon. My Hakali been summoned. Total destruction into a vacuum suction. Conjunction, junction, that's my function. Through a star cluster in a maritime custom. Stellar dust encrusted, I ain't touching your disgusting judgments. We rise above it, enjoying the void. Source of pure joy, no more discussion.
Get to the South Pole, then what happens?
You will open an ancient spirit portal.
I'm sorry, what now?
At the South Pole, there is a portal that connects our world to the spirit world. But it has long been closed.
And that's why the evil spirits are attacking?
There are no evil spirits. There's light and dark in them all. And when they're unbalanced, the darkness takes over. If you can open the portal in time, balance will be restored.
What do you mean, in time?
There's a reason the Glacier Spirits Festival ends on the winter solstice. And that's when the spirit world and the physical world are close together. Only then can the Avatar open the portal.
The winter solstice is tomorrow.
Exactly. And we can't afford to wait another year.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point, enter the void. This is fractal math, holographically enjoy. Darkness we can't avoid, enter the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Into the void.
I found true freedom. I am no longer bound to this earth by worldly desires. I have entered the void.
And we're live. Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of our Daily Magic. Here in this episode, or here in this podcast, what we like to do is have magical conversations with other magical beings who get to showcase their own unique magic. What our belief is, we all are magical, and sometimes we just need a little bit of reminder. So whether you're listening to us live or you're going to listen to us on our podcast streams or YouTube, we appreciate each and every one of you. And if this conversation impacts you like I know it will, hit a like, subscribe, and even share it with somebody else. And of course, my name is Dell. And
my name is Kai. Welcome to the show. We have an amazing guest today. Her name is Debra, and Debra is the Transformational Mentor. She facilitates transformational change by awakening clients to their highest potential and calling, utilizing spiritual hypnosis. I got some questions about that. Healing and intuitive counseling. And she specializes in recapturing balance, joy, and creativity by reawakening the spiritual self in order to live a meaningful and purposeful life. Welcome, Debra.
Hi, thank you so much for having me come on to your wonderful show.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
The first thing that jumps out to me is that you're talking about spiritual hypnosis. Is there a difference between hypnosis and spiritual hypnosis?
There's a big difference. You know, when you think of hypnosis, most people think of the stage hypnotist where they call volunteers up onto the stage and then everyone's afraid to volunteer, but the class clown always does. And the class clown knows that they're going to take the suggestion just to be a comic because that's what they do. They just love to make people laugh. And truly, that's really not what spiritual hypnosis or really even clinical hypnosis is. We know that people use smoking cessation, weight loss, stress management, and maybe even to remove fears. And the hypnotist will give you suggestions to eliminate, those unwanted behaviors and habits. Spiritual hypnosis is so different because it's very, very interactive. When I work with a client, I say, go where you need to go, wherever that may be for your highest good. So you may go into your childhood, you may go into a past life or a series of past lives. If there's repeated patterns that you're doing now in this life, you may go into the life between lives state where you look at your Akashic records or your blueprint of what your mission is in this life or lessons that you needed to learn, or maybe karmic soul contracts. You may meet deceased loved ones. It's always such a wonderful thing to witness, a healing or just a reunion. You may even go to a future life or maybe even onto another planet. I never know where the client is going to go, but I always think of myself as the spiritual expert guide, but you are the expert traveler because you know exactly where you need to go for your highest good. And that's how different it truly is.
Yeah, that is a big difference.
Because one is very interactive and the other is, where the client just sits and takes in the suggestions. And truly hypnosis, we're in hypnosis throughout the day. Every time we're driving and we miss our turn, we're in an alpha state and or when we're driving at night and we get home, we're like, wow, we're home already. And you just think you were an automatic pilot. Well, you were. So it's true. It's so true. We're in different states all the time. Right now, as we're all talking, we're in a full beta conscious. But when we go into alpha, when we daydream or fantasize or just think very creatively, when we're reading a really good book or, we watching a movie and we really believe the characters and we cry, well, that's because we were hypnotized during that time that we were watching the film. When we're painting, when we have creative genius, that's in the alpha state. So it's a very comfortable place to be. Beta is where I like to do the spiritual hypnosis work and also with any type of laying on of hands healing. It's because that's the point when you wake up and you have to go to the bathroom, but you want to be the director of your dream to make it your way. So that's a theta state, and delta is when we're in just a very deep sleep. So those are the different, and I'm sure there's countless other stages. That's where we tap into with anesthesia, but those are the 4 that I personally know in a waking state. So I hope that addresses what hypnosis is and what it's not. It's never mind control. Ever, never, never.
It's really helpful. And I mean, just like any other superhero that has a superpower, I'm curious how you got interested into hypnosis.
Everything just, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But my teacher was my special needs son. He was born very, very premature. So premature, it was 29 weeks that, I thought the pain I was having was gas. I had no idea that it was labor. And previous to me actually giving birth, I went to a psychic for the very first time. And I wasn't showing. And she told me, you're carrying a male child. And no matter what the doctors say, because he will be born premature, know that he will survive. And I said, and she told me a whole bunch of other things I didn't really, not that they were negative, but I wasn't prepared to hear, including that. So I just pushed it aside. So when my son was born so early, that was so heartwarming because it gave me the courage to be in the neonatology unit with him for 3 months. And it was at that time that I realized that there's so much more to healing. I would first start because I couldn't massage him. He was so loaded up with tubes and he had 3 brain surgeries. And I didn't realize that I was making passes over his auric field or his aura. And the heart monitor would decrease. And then when I would speak to him and telling him, of course you're going to survive, of course you're going to be fine. And those were positive suggestions. I didn't realize I was doing positive hypnosis on my infant son. And it was truly amazing. And I wrote a book, and it was about decades of all the different techniques from the East and the West, and from ancient times and metaphysical experiences. I just left no stone unturned to help him heal. So it brought me into massage because he started to respond. Cerebral palsy doesn't disappear, but his cerebral palsy did. And it was confirmed by a neonatologist. They called him the miracle kid. And so massaging was something that I did to him and gave me a way to be home with him. And at the same time to be able to make somewhat of a living. But I will never forget, there was one gal became so relaxed on the massage table. At first I thought she was talking to me. No, she was having a conversation with a deceased loved one, which was her mom, and they started to argue. And I felt like I was a fly on the wall. And I said, what is this? And then there was a healing that was taking place, and I could not move my hands from her shoulders. They were like glued, and I realized I was some type of anchor for her. And then it was all finished. She just opened her eyes and said, oh my God. And I said, where were you? And then I realized that she went into some type of hypnotic trance, and the most amazing healing transpired between her and her mother. I said, oh boy, if that could, do amazing healing for her, what could it possibly do for my son? So then I went back to school, and I ended up getting a doctorate in clinical hypnosis. I was very, very bored with the clinical aspect, because once you have a taste of the metaphysical, that's what I wanted. I knew that everybody's healer is within. And if you could tap into the healer within, then you can get the answers that you most need, or actually what the person needs to heal. And that's where it all began.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's still ongoing. My son is 35, and I published my book. It came out this end of January of 2021, and then the end of February he had a brand new diagnosis. He was in the hospital ER 5 times, and a 12-day hospital stay, and we're dealing with it now. And back into the drawing board using not only all the metaphysical and ancient healing tools I've learned from the past, but new things, brand new things. I just feel like I'm like a research librarian or a legal assistant, working, for helping the guides. I feel like we have a whole team. So that's my story.
That's pretty cool.
It's crazy. I don't know how cool it is, but
yeah.
You know why it's cool? Because it's not so much about me. I've learned that there's so many other parents out there that they get a diagnosis, whether it's autism or ADD or whatever they're dealing with, something brand new, and it's terrifying, and they have choice. They have options. The brain is so powerful. There's so much neuroplasticity, and you take whatever works. It's you just keep moving, whether it's working with color, whether it's working with meditation, whether it's working with neural feedback, things that we know, Reiki, or even things that we don't know. I'll give you a perfect example. Close your eyes for a second. We'll do a little experiment. Okay.
And those watching as well.
Okay, that's right, everybody. I'm going to close my eyes too. Take a deep breath in. Hold. And release. Deep breath in. Hold. And release. Find your own comfortable breathing rhythm. And now with your eyes closed, look up into your crown chakra and look down to your root chakra. And look up to your root chakra and look down to your root chakra. And look up to your crown, look down to your root. And now just count down from 10 down to 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And imagine you're walking into a building. It's a beautiful, magical building. It's a building with many, many doors, maybe hundreds of doors. But there's a door that's illuminated, possibly in color, and that's the door that your higher self, that your soul is beckoning you. And on the count from 1 to 5, you'll go to that door and open it. A door where you most need to go to access your own higher self, to gain answers to what you most need to know at this moment in time. 1, 2, going to the door. 3, 4, almost there, and 5. Open the door. Get acclimated. And notice your surroundings. Maybe this is a place you know, or maybe it's a magical, comforting, beautiful place that you know, or don't know, but it feels good. And ask your higher self, what do I most need to know at this time? And have a dialogue with a beautiful, beautiful light that is your soul, your magnificent soul. Perhaps you see colors or feelings, but just dialogue. Hear what you need to hear, see what you need to see, feel what you need to feel, or know what you need to know. And look down at your feet, and there's a gift for you. What is the gift? Now look at the other side. And there's a stone. What gemstone is it? And there's a word that emanates from the stone. Now place the stone into your heart, and you may feel a presence, a higher being that loves you very, very much, always with you. Listen very carefully, there's a message. 1, 2, 3, receive the message. Now thank this being. Remember the word and the stone. Remember the gift and the message that your higher self wanted you to know. Always for your highest good. Remember it now. And on the count from 1 to 3, open your eyes, and you may feel that you're physically feeling wonderfully alert, mentally very, very clear, emotionally very calm, and just feeling happy, good, centered. 1, 2, 3, eyes open, wide awake, wide awake. Now that's an exercise. Usually I would journal it, but that's an exercise I actually did with my son today. He's back with us, living in our home because of the medical circumstances. But he was feeling anxious, and he didn't know why he was experiencing what he was experiencing. I said, go within. And I just took him to a little journey, and he received a gift. He received a stone with a message. But his soul told him what he most needed to know and how to calm himself. And his whole demeanor changed. His whole face changed. He just was, and he was grateful that he was able to just tap in and become empowered, self-empowered, that he didn't have to rely on me or anything else externally, that he had that resource within to tap in whenever he could. What did that take? 2, 3 minutes? Were you able to do that easily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get a pretty cool little gift or hear any messages that you most needed to know?
Yeah, I'm still like, like vibrated.
Oh, okay. So you actually raised your vibration to the divine and the healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so easy to go into we went into an alpha state very easily just by breathing and, just counting down from 10 down to 1. But just that little going up and going down and going up and going down. It didn't even matter if I screwed up the words, it would just, because you wanted the experience. And that's why it happened. There was no mind control. You went into a little self-hypnotic state. And it's very easy for us to do, whether we want to use it for stress management or for releasing a negative habit. I have, a food addiction like everything else. I love salt. Oh, I crave salt. And I've actually have been able to hypnotize myself to just release that craving and to think of food more as a fuel, to fuel my temple. So I don't have an attachment anymore to food. And then, how we always celebrate around food, that I'm able to have portion control. And it's not a trigger for me. It's because I'm enjoying the company that I'm with. But I had to really go and figure out, why do I do this? And I have all the answers within, and that's what I want. all your guests to know you have all the answers within. And it's so simple. Even if you get nice and toasty before you go to bed, really to sleep and connect with your guides, or you can just connect with your soul. Sometimes I connect with my deceased parents and say, I'd really love to have a dream. I miss you. I want to be able to commune with you. So I believe the truth is stranger than fiction, isn't it? It is. I bet you have some pretty wild stories about visitations from deceased loved ones too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, my father just transitioned last year.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, I've been having experiences with Blue Jays.
Oh, how wonderful.
Just been showing up more lately. And it was last week or the week before last, Kai and I decided to go visit my dad's gravesite. And then right when we visited the gravesite, there was a Blue Jay sitting on a tombstone.
See, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you commune with the Blue Jay and say, what's your message? I know it's Dad, but what's your message? What do you want? And and you have to trust what you receive.
Yeah. I never asked it directly when I see the Blue Jay. Every time I see, I say hi to Dad. I say hi to him and acknowledge him. And I was before asking questions, but not so much now. Now it's like I'm having a conversation, like how you and I are having conversation. I just have a conversation within myself. And even when I'm meditating or have thoughts and I get responses back, and like you said, I honor the responses. I don't say like, this is just my imagination, or there's other stuff like that. Because I really feel that connection with my father by just honoring and having those conversations. And last year I was actually asking him, like, how is it up there? Like, what's going on? Like, how things on the other side and stuff like that.
And what did you hear? Isn't it amazing? I mean, if you think about it, imagination is inspired information.
Yeah.
Everything is channeled. Everything. And, it's how wonderful for you, and also how wonderful for your dad, because he's not going, he's not listening. You're actually able to, invite him in and just say, Dad, I'm here. Let's continue our relationship because love never dies. I mean, that's so powerful. And he's so relieved that he's able to continue the conversation and that you hear him. And I bet sometimes, so many of us think it's just our reading voice. Oh, no. It's that wonderful feeling. And I'm sure you could even feel his presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it feel like for you?
For me, it's like a surge of just love and like fire. I feel it over here, but also it's like I feel like a pat on my shoulder type of thing. So like somebody who has like the hand on my shoulder, and that's actually something he used to do with me too. So I just feel that and just feel the connection. But it's been really amazing because the relationship that I have with him is expanding so much, and he has so much wisdom to share with me, even from like just a year since his transition, with so much wisdom and so much things he is showing to me and teaching me and stuff like that. And I just said to Kai yesterday, because him and I, we have the same birthday, or we have a birthday a couple days away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually the end of last month. So of course it was that, and then this past weekend was Father's Day, and I said to her yesterday, I was like, this one was actually more intense than it was last year, because last year I was still going through my grieving process and not really. I was present to the emotions that I had, but I was more present this year, in which I'm like, yeah, I can actually just admit that I miss him. Like, it like really struck me, like, yeah, I really miss my father, having like in-person conversations with him. That was like those things that I was yearning for, and I acknowledged that I was feeling that, but also acknowledge the fact of like he's always available for me to have a conversation.
Always.
whenever I would like to have a conversation. So then I start to have conversations walking around. It was I'm having a normal day, like la, 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 but I'm actually just having conversations with my father and hearing things back and stuff like that. And it's even deeper because it allows me to have a deeper connection with God as well, because I'm saying Father, Father. So it's like pretty cool for me saying Father, and I just know that there's someone on that side who is my Father. That like it's like a deeper even connection with the divine.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, and because think about what you did. You were talking about raising your vibrations, how you could feel it. Well, you raised your vibration, and he was able, like tuning into the radio station, where you fine tune both of your vibrations to create that balance. How awesome is that? Yeah. I hope that you're journaling, your conversations, or even taping it on the phone. Because there's these words of wisdom, he has peripheral vision. So not only is he helping you, on your everyday, human incarnation, your human existence, everyday life, but he's also helping you with your soul development.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my goodness, he's probably jumping up and down, and so is everyone else, everyone and their cousin, because as much as you're helping him, I mean, you are helping him because he's elevating too. He's helping you. So it really is a two-way street. I really, really believe that. And the only reason why I believe that is because of the 30 plus years of the sessions I've done and the people that have connected with their loved ones. I mean, it goes both ways. It's, it's just a wonderful, and how fortunate you are that you're not doubting it. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad that you told me that. Yeah. Kai, what about you? Have you had experience from loved ones?
Yeah. What were you saying?
Oh no, I was just about to say, yeah, there was definitely doubts before, because then it was like that question, like, am I going crazy right now? But then I started getting more and more signs, and then when the Blue Jays looked at me, pretty much it was like, hey, like, what else do you need? And also I went synchronistically on a walk at this place that my father used to always like to walk when he was alive. And on the walk, I found a Blue Jay feather just sitting on my path, like a big one. I was like, okay, that's confirmation too. And then my mom was telling me how outside of her bedroom window is like this loud bird sound going on, and she's like, what's making this sound like this? It sounds different. Like I never heard this before. She looked outside, there's a blue jay outside her window making all these sounds to her.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you talked to your mom? Did you tell her about your visitations from your dad?
I talked to her to a certain extent about it, because like I don't want to like step over the toes, but like I told her about the Blue Jay, the Blue Jay stuff, the Blue Jay experience, and like she even experienced a Blue Jay as well. So that's like a way of like us connecting and having those conversations. I'm like, I feel that that's a sign from that, and also
absolutely. And it's like love, isn't it? I mean, no one can tell you, your own experience about love. It's something you just know. And it's same with your experience. It's a knowing. It's a profound knowing. You just know. It's your dad's way of communicating with you to just say, hey, I'm here. I'm always here, and it's not like your dad incarnated into a bird, but he's using, obviously, he's using the bird as a symbol.
Yeah.
Just to say, I'm with you, buddy.
Yeah.
I love it. When my dad passed, I was in Wildwood, New Jersey by Cape May, and I was driving home, and there's a section on the New Jersey Parkway where there's no trucks allowed. So I was copping an attitude. It was very early in the morning. There was a truck, and it was coming closer and closer and closer, and it looked like it was going to kiss my bumper. And at that moment, it was distracting my thoughts. I was thinking, wow, dad just passed and my mom has Alzheimer's, and I don't know if I can handle another void, because I think when you lose someone, it feels like a void.
Yeah.
Initially, and there's no words to describe it. Life goes on, and you're just in this void until you leave the cave after you've licked your wounds, and you come back out and join life again.
Yeah.
But so I was just like, oh, I don't know. And I was talking to my dad. And I said, I don't know if I can go through this void. So the truck passes me, and on big letters says ELLIOTT in capital letters, and on the T is a big starburst. And I was like, oh, because that's my father's name. And I was like, and that's all the truck said was Ellie. And I was like, oh, and then I heard playing on the radio, which I was completely oblivious, was Calling All Angels. And I just burst into tears, and I could hear in my father's voice laughing, saying, what void? And I was like, oh my God. And it was so powerful, and it was so dramatic. And my dad was a very theatrical personality. So he would come in that way, bigger than life. He was like a combination of Jackie Gleason and Gene Wilder. And no, it's true, he was. But it was it made me realize, that I'll be okay when mom passes, and and I was. And now I speak to both of them. But I wanted to share that story because that was not my imagination. It was very real. It was very vivid, and I couldn't wait to share it with my brothers. And sometimes they think I'm crazy. I don't care. I don't care. I feel that I'm very fortunate. And I just try to help others along the way to know what they know and to not doubt what they know, to be able to feel what they most need to feel, like you did, that love around, that was emanating, and you could feel it. And perhaps maybe even you felt a tap on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. And the fact that you just have this vehicle, for others to be able to connect, because like attracts like. When the student is ready, the teacher appears, right?
Yeah.
So you have this fabulous podcast where you talk about everything under the sun, about whether it's holistic, whether it's healing, whether it's metaphysical, the Kai, you do these wonderful, tarot readings. And and it's just another way to access your wisdom within. It's a home. It's a home for people to really feel like they found their tribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's so needed right now.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, the world is so chaotic right now. We never thought that something like COVID would shut down the whole world. It's crazy. And it's like right out of a science fiction novel. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder what Nostradamus, if he's ever said anything about all this. Do you know if he has, or Edgar Casey?
No, but there was a psychic who predicted it exactly in the exact time. I forgot which psychic it was, but they pulled her up. Matter of fact, I could search for it, but she predicted that COVID was going to happen.
Amazing.
Let's see. Psychic.
Yeah, because an event this large, this extraordinary, where it stops the world, do you think a lot of people have, because they were forced to stay inside and connect with their family, or to connect with their own higher source, to be able to remain calm in this crazy storm?
Yeah. I said, or we had a conversation before with someone with this, and I was like, I feel that the God, universe, whatever people call the higher source of their understanding, it granted us our wishes, but it came in a form of we weren't or in this type of way. Meaning, how many people wanted to work more from home? How many more people wanted to spend more time with their family and loved ones, but they feel like they were stuck in work all the time and never had the opportunity to? So like now with this pandemic, it was forced to make that shift of people getting what they wanted. But then, of course, in the process of that, you're going to do some healing, because a lot of the deep healing is the family, like being with family and doing that healing and that work, because everything else is just showing the process of what happened with your family, those relationships, because those are like the most important ones, and also the first ones that we actually have as we are going through our own soul journey.
That's true. That's the whole purpose of why we've incarnated in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, to learn the opposite of fear, which is love, whether it's self-love or love for others, or how best can we serve.
Yeah.
And acceptance, I think self-acceptance is a biggie. You know, we're always judging ourselves and putting ourselves down, that self-negative talk. You know, it's so important, you know, and I think the people that come into our lives I think our soul calls them in.
Oh yeah.
You know, even the challenging ones, you know, because they're mirror images. I have another funny story to tell you. I was in a group, bunch of women in a car. We were going to go play at the sandbox therapy. And the driver, who was a good friend of mine, she's since passed on. I knew exactly where it was, but she didn't want to hear me with the directions. And she was yelling at me, and I pouted in the back seat, and I pouted all day doing the sand therapy thing. I just couldn't get over how I was yelled at. I really felt injured and hurt. And then when I got home, when I was quiet, and I said to myself, okay, guys, you know, I said, I call them my boys. I said, tell me, why did this happen? And all of a sudden, I saw a vision. I saw myself sitting at my computer doing work, and my son as a little boy coming in, and he was trying to get my attention and ask me questions. And I was barking at him and dismissing him exactly the way she was doing it. And I was like, oh, that's an awakening. So I called her up. I said, can you come over tomorrow morning? And she was like, I don't know. I said, please, I need to talk to you. And she did. And I told her, I said, I have to thank you. You gave me a very valuable lesson. And I told her what happened, and we healed it. But I was wise enough to know that everything that happens, even crappy stuff, you know, it's whether we're consciously aware we called it in, or maybe your soul did, you know, for growth. And I think that's important. We have to remember that we always have choice, and it's how we change our perception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That theory, and also I totally resonate with that. But I just remember just hearing people having a conversation to like combat that. So they were saying like, oh, so you're trying to say that our soul picks our life. So for example, like a kid who's born into the world and they have cancer or pain, or a child that goes through their abuse or trauma that they experience. So they're trying to say like, so you're saying that person picked that. And it's something to like really grasp, and it's something that like, even for me, I questioned it at first, but then I totally understand it. I'm like, I really feel that like it's all divine planned from before we got here. And the way that I feel about it, maybe I actually had experience with it. I feel like before we even get here, they give you the rundown, like, okay, which you go in this bodysuit, this is what's going to happen in your life. You go here, this is going to happen. You go here, this is going to happen. And our soul, before we came, okay, I'm going to choose this life.
Exactly.
You go into it. And it's so much more empowering, too, to like think it in that type of way, because then you say, okay, I have more power over my life. And even though like my soul chose this, so my soul chose this path for my highest evolution, and to trust that and like really trust that and integrate that. It's so much more empowering compared to, oh, why does this happen to me? What's going on? Because I've done that too before, and it's just,
well, we all have. We're human.
Yeah.
But you're so right. You're so right. I mean, my son was hypnotized. Oh, I don't know, easily thousands and thousands of times, and now he's 35. But when he was a young adult, he was very, very frustrated, and he went into the lives between lives state, because I just say go where you need to go, and he saw 4 different bodies that he could choose for this incarnation. And one body was perfect in every way. And he said, nope, there's not enough challenge there. And then he saw another body that was very, very difficult. He said, I don't think I can handle it. I'm not strong enough. Not that one. Then he saw a female, and he said, I was female too many times. I need to be male this time. And then he saw the one he's in now. has a lot of challenges, believe me, but he also knew on a soul level that he could handle it. And when he came out of that hypnosis session, his whole mindset changed. All of a sudden, he went to Partners of Public Policy Making, an 8-month study, and he became an advocate for people with other disabilities like himself. And he moved mountains. He changed City Hall, which is amazing.
Wow.
But it wasn't until he realized that he made that decision. He did. I didn't tell him where to go. He did. And it reminds me of another client, oh my goodness, that I saw maybe 25, 30 years ago. She was an elderly woman. I would say maybe in her early 80s. And she was very resentful, very angry. She was completely detached from her children and even her brothers and sisters. And it came out, she had to, for whatever reason, her highest good wanted her to relive her childhood with a very abusive mother, both emotionally, mentally, physically. And it was severe. And I was horrified just listening and watching and the banter back and forth. And she went into the life between lives state afterwards, and she saw her spirit team, like her spirit soul family. And some of them were incarnated in this lifetime with her, but others were not. And she was so excited and she was rejoicing and hugging. And there was a true spiritual family reunion, except for one that was wearing a mask. And she says, "Why are you wearing a mask? This is like the dearest, the most loving of all." And she goes, "Please take off your mask." And it did. And it was her mother. And she was like, "Ah!" And then all of a sudden it was instant, recognition. And she was sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And then when she finally come down, I said, "What's happening?" And she said, "This is my dearest love, most beloved soul." And she said, and she volunteered to be my mother. I wrote the script. She said, and nobody else wanted to play that part, and she did. And it was such a tremendous, profound healing. The woman left like a different person. I was floored by it, and I was just, I love, this work because it's so magical to see people transform when they get their own wisdom, their own healing from within, what they most need to know. But that was profound, and it was a big eye-opener for me too. I know that we all have divine plans, of course, but she made it really simple for me to understand. She was a playwright, and she wrote her play for very specific reasons, what she wanted to accomplish, what she needed to learn, and like her mission as well. And there was a volunteer who said, "Okay, I love you that much. I will play that role."
Wow.
And, I'm getting the chills right now as I just repeated that. So, So I wrote a book about my experiences, back in 2000 about my opening to other world realities through the eyes of my clients. And, and this new one is really about No Stone Unturned, how my special needs child and I transformed against all odds. Because as he healed, I healed. As he had crazy metaphysical experiences, I was a little kid in the candy store. And thank goodness he didn't mind being my guinea pig. I mean, of course, I didn't do anything that was harmful to him in any way, but I really needed to investigate and search and search and search. And he would say, "Well, what happens if plan B doesn't work?" I say, "Nick, we have the whole alphabet, but suppose we get to Z." And I said, "Then we do double A and double B."
Wow.
So it's true. We don't give up. And even now with this brand new horrific diagnosis, why? And I said, because, and I laugh when I tell him, and sometimes I'm not always this upbeat. And I said, "You were like the Eagle Scout that said, 'I'll do it. I can handle it.'" And he took on quite a bit in this incarnation, but he knows why he did. And at least that's helpful. So even now, before we came on, he went into, like I said before, he went into a self-hypnotic state, and he sees the color green. Now, in his mind, he knows that's healing, but his higher self gave him the color green to any time that he does need to come back into the present and heal whatever he needs to heal to feel better. Because a wise, wonderful friend of mine said, there are big storms and there are little storms. And it's not your job to control the storm. It's your job to control and calm yourself, because storms always pass.
Wow.
So he's in a big cyclone right now, and you know what? He's learning how to center himself and be that oak tree that's not going to fall and break. Just to calm himself during this storm. And another favorite thing I always remind him is it's temporary. I don't care what it is, even our lives. It's temporary. The only thing that's permanent is love, because love never dies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the truth. And we know that, don't we? Because we speak to our loved ones.
Yeah. And that was another factor too, and beautiful share. This life is temporary, and it's just another one of my just intuitive hypotheses I threw out there. I have a feeling that what COVID has done is to bring more awareness to that for people. The awareness that this life is temporary, but also because like what happened at the transition of my father, I actually asked myself, what am I doing for my life right now? Am I truly happy with what I am doing with my life right now? And I got a clear answer, no. So I was able to make those shifts. And that's why I feel like for like the COVID or anything like that, that present type of events is really bringing that awareness to the mortality of our bodies, our physical body, and potentially wondering like what happens after this.
Yeah. You're right. It makes people think. Makes people think how to stay in the present. I have a girlfriend that sends me like funny comic things, but yesterday's thing was pretty interesting. It was a cartoon character of a Buddhist Zen, and he says, if you're feeling sad, you're living in the past. And if you're feeling anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're feeling calm, you're in the present. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's so profound, because it's so true. So Monday nights, I have a psychic circle with 6 other women. And, we went into that beautiful between alpha and theta state. And I had them go, I said, so what are you sad about? Think of a challenge. What are you sad about? They took a few minutes. He said, that's related to your past. And they're like, yeah. I said, okay, what are you anxious about? They took a few moments and think about it. Well, that's about your future. Why are you living in the future? And they're like, yeah, and I said, so think about what you're grateful for now. When you're not sad and you're not anxious, you're just in a good place. They got all toasty. They felt great. And I just thought, a little cartoon, how do we know that just wasn't inspiration that Spirit just sent? Who knows? I think everything is a message.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the same thing, how everything in life's a synchronicity. That's how I feel. So like even all numbers is a number. Not just like the 111, the 222, 1, 2, 3, 4, those things. Even if I look at the clock and it says like 12:36 or something like that, it's a synchronicity. I'm present in the moment.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And it can isn't it wonderful? Aren't you like a little kid in a candy store when you have synchronistic moments and you're like, oh, I call them magical moments because they just make you feel like in wonder, just like you did as a little kid.
Yeah.
And it's magical. And we're just, I mean, I hate being airy fairy because, my husband, he makes me laugh because I call him Fred and he gets so annoyed, like Fred Flintstone from the caveman days. But it's so funny. We're like Lucy and Ricky. You guys are so lucky that, you're able to really like go on a magical journey, like to Oz, there, wherever you go, each day is a magical journey. Sometimes it's not fun, but you're always learning, aren't you? But you're able to communicate and talk. You found your tribe with each other. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Like you have like your spiritual playmate.
Yeah. Haven't really brought awareness and that gratitude for that. It was actually something I haven't really like thought about, like, oh yeah, we actually have a tribe, and this is like our little play pen that we actually can play around, have magical conversation. But also we have, like you said, we have a tribe that's starting to form of other people who like to play this way too. So definitely something to be grateful for in the moment.
Oh yes. It's I think we're lucky because we're willing to be open. My husband always says, oh, it's common sense. And he's so psychic. He doesn't realize it, but he'll say it's common sense. And that's okay. So I ask him every morning, did you have any dreams? And I help him and he'll just look at me like, oh, but sometimes he tells me and they're very like intense and fabulous because dreams, don't you think dreams is another way? I mean, sometimes they're, psychological where they help us work out our issues. But sometimes they're messages from our spirits. What do you think?
I think so. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I'll tell a story about a dream that I had. I love telling this story about this dream because for me it was really mind-blowing. I had this moment where I realized that all of the people that I've ever had in my dreams, they're all me. They're just playing different roles at different times. And there was one dream that I had where I was looking for something in the car and I was like shuffling things around and I was really driving myself crazy. And I told myself, who was sitting in the passenger seat as well, I said, I'm looking for my limitations. And then I turned to myself and I said, that's because you don't have any. That's why you can't find them. And moving forward from that, it just really got me present to that. There are no limitations.
Wow. That was huge. That was such a divine gift you gave yourself. Oh, yeah. I hope you shared that with like everyone and their cousin.
Trying to.
Oh, that's such a powerful message, and how lucky for you that you were able to like get it. It was so loud and clear for you. Wow. So you're really an incredible teacher because you have a voice. You're able to receive the guidance in dreams. And your tarot. Tell me about your tarot. How do you, because I went on your website, I thought, oh, these cards are really cool. I mean, I think I have a lot. I have like maybe 30 different decks, and my girlfriend, she has something crazy, like close to 900. So I got to let her know about your deck.
Wow. How does she decide what tarot to use? Like which deck? Did she like just grab one?
I said, yeah, tell me. I'm so curious. How do you work with them?
Well, what our catchphrase is, be the magic that you wish to see in the world. And there were all of these kinds of tarot decks that just kept like coming to me that I just didn't see anywhere. So I decided to start creating them. And the first one that I ever owned was one that I created. And to answer Dell's question, now that I've created a few, I just use the one that I'm called to, or I ask the cards if they want to be used at this time.
Wow. So you're being very intuitive with your own, do you think that's more of a claircognizance or clairsentience? Well,
when I was in the design process, I have one card deck called the Badass Baby Unicorns. And I always say it wasn't even my idea. like the unicorns told me what to do. And it literally is that. They have a really funny and playful character, and they come through the way that they want to.
Wow. So do you think it's your spirit guides that's working and channeling through the cards with you?
I never thought of it that way. Perhaps.
That's what I'm picking up. I'm feeling that it is. I feel that you've got, many different spirit guides around you and helping you for not only your own daily life and, but also, of course, when you work with other people, because that's how you serve. So I think that's pretty cool, and the fact that you have the unicorn one, you've got a real playful one around you that wants you to be magical and playful and innocent and always have that gift of wonder. Yeah, because don't you think when you're excited, it's like, well, are you a mom?
Yes.
Okay, so like when your kids get a boo-boo and they hurt it, and if you're acting like all freaked out, then they're like, oh gosh, I have a reason to get freaked out. And then when you're calm, like they're calm. So
right.
Yeah, so I think you have different guides that are coming with you, different ones when you work with different clients, to be able to almost be like a chameleon, to be able to match the frequency of the people that you're working with. That's what I'm feeling with you. And I think that's really cool, because that means that you're just really open, to the spirit guides working with you and through you to be of service to others. It's just what I'm feeling. And maybe you can sense that when you're working with like a young person or someone that's with anxiety, or someone that's grieving, or someone that's anxious about their future or their love life. I feel that you're like a box of crayons that you can really, be, how color is different vibrations of different energy levels.
Yeah.
I think I feel that you can change your color to fit what's needed. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And it helped me change my perception on a lot of things as well. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. But that's hard to do. But I can feel very clearly that that's what you do. And the reason why it's hard, because you have to like put aside your ego, and when we say thy will be done, well, that's what you do. And maybe when you start by saying a prayer, you're actually going into a divine state where you're able, to just give what you need to give.
Yeah.
For the highest good. Yeah.
Thank you, Debra.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's, what I'm feeling. I keep going back to colors because I feel that, it's more than just channeled voice. Because what I'm feeling with you is that when you're working when you're being called to the tarot, different cards, because it's different spirits working with different cards with you. But I also feel that color is really, really important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you paint, but I feel that maybe you could even incorporate color healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that could even be with food, or with breath work, or with stones. And this is what I feel. It's not so much healing for you. I feel that it's more healing work that you do for others to serve. Just saying, that's what I feel around you.
That is extremely accurate. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, I feel very blessed to be in your presence. And I'm not just saying that because I feel that you're a teacher in your own right. You know how we say our master teachers? I feel like you're a spirit teacher as well. And you've had some challenges, but you flow. You flow easy. I'm being this one thing, this other cartoon, I just have to share because I think you do this really well. Learn a lesson from your dog. No matter what life brings you, kick some grass over that shit and move on. It was just a cartoon, but that message really spoke to me, and I received it last night, and I loved it, and I just wrote it down, and gonna put it on my wall. But that's not an easy thing for me to do, but I feel it's an easy thing for you. What do you think?
Yeah. So many synchronicities in what you just shared.
Yeah. Dell, do you think that's true? You think she can easily roll, huh?
Yeah, when she allows herself to.
Yeah.
She can, yeah.
Well, good.
Wow.
Is there anything else that you'd like me to talk about, or do you want to do another exercise? It's up to you.
Anything. Love to do another exercise.
Okay. Let's do this then. We're going to go nice and easy again. On the count, close our eyes. Take a deep breath in. And release. Deep breath in. And release. And a third. Deep breath in. And release. Find your own comfortable breathing rhythm. And imagine you're on an elevator, moving down to the basement, 10th floor, 9th floor. Maybe you can see the lights. 8th. Maybe you can feel it moving down, down, down. 7th, 6th. Maybe you just know. 5. Maybe you can hear the gears. 4, 3, 2, 1. And B for basement. The doors open and you walk to the right. There's a closet. You open that closet door and you put in all of your should-do list, your things to do list, things that unnerve you, things that are bothering you on either a physical level, emotional, mental, spiritual. Oh, you just don't want to deal with that now. Maybe it's on a global level. Maybe it's on a national level. Whatever it is, just take it off of you and put it in that closet. Now, come out and lock the door. Turn away from the door. And you're going to see with your wonderful imagination that you're walking through a forest. It's a beautiful day. Maybe you can feel the breeze or the sun beaming on your face as you walk. Maybe you can see the trees. Maybe you can hear the birds, bluebirds. Or maybe you just know. And as you're walking, you come to a clearing and there's a bench. So you decide to sit on the bench and you go within. You're very grateful to have this time to just be at peace and quietness. And you say a prayer of gratitude for the love that you have around you, for the love that you have for self, the love that you have for deceased loved ones. And you ask for a deceased loved one to come join you on the bench. On the count from 1 to 3, see who comes to visit. 1, 2, 3. Perhaps you can see with your mind's eyes. Perhaps you can feel the presence with your mind, sense the feeling. Perhaps you can ask a question and use your mind, sense of hearing, clairaudience, telepathy. Begin a dialogue now. Continue the conversation. Ask for your loved one to show you a sign somewhere either inside your body or a physical sign on your body. Now, on the count from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3. Confirmation, yes. Ask to make it a little stronger. On the count from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank your loved one and know that your loved one is only a thought away. And on the count from 1 to 3, we come back to the room. 1, hug your loved one. Feel the energetic love. Only a thought away. Only a thought away. 2, walking back through the forest. And 3, back into the room, wherever you are, eyes open, wide awake, wide awake. Easy peasy, easy connection. Yeah, I think Dell is like, no way, I want to stay here. And you can do that tonight. You can do that tonight when you're toasty in bed. It's so easy to have that connection. And don't ever think that you're bothering them, because you're not. They're so delighted. So delighted. So how was that for you? I mean, I had my dad, and then my dad said, Mom wants to talk. So I was like, oh, that's great. And for me, I just, I get like the goosebumps, but it's more like a harp strung. So that's what I feel. What about you guys?
You go first.
For me, a lot of times, like I feel like pressure on my shoulders, so I tend to like counteract and shrug them a lot. And I thought that it was like pressure, like actual like intense pressure. And what I learned is that it's actually a sign that I had asked for a long time ago. And what it is actually it's a hug.
Oh, a spirit hug. Oh, how terrific is that? Were you able to dialogue?
Yeah, but it was just a lot of love. I felt like everyone showed up for me.
Oh, how fabulous is that? So you just were having this Jagundo spirit bear hug. I love it. Right. Oh, that's great.
At 111, nonetheless.
Terrific. What about you, Dell?
I got to see my dad, and then also I got to see a cat that passed on a couple years ago, but my father and I had a deep relationship with this cat, so got to see at the park. He was sitting with the cat on his lap, and I was able to,
Oh, what a treat. Did you get a sign in your physical body?
For me, and I'm still feeling it, it's just warm sensations just going through it. Yeah.
Cool. It's to me, I don't know if I would have had the strength to go through what I had to go through with my son if it wasn't for spirit, whether it's loved ones, whether it's spirit helpers, angels. It's what helped me through the darkest moments and helped me realize I'm never alone. I've got a whole team. And it's just amazing, all the books that are out there, even the films that are out there. Everything is a teachable moment. And there's so much connections. I have a wonderful, wonderful teacher. And actually, there were two teachers that developed this spiritual counseling course. And it's not like master's counseling. It's actually very esoteric, very spiritual, metaphysical, everything from doing what I do with the past life spiritual hypnosis to hands-on healing to dream work, shamanic, oh my God, the list goes on and on and on. It's mind-blowing. And it's 50 hours of coursework for such a reasonable price. And I thought, what made you decide to do it? And she said, I listened to spirit. They wanted more doing the work that we do. They just, it's like a domino effect. So if you were interested or you're listening, I would be very happy to share that link to her course, because that was pretty mind-blowing and amazing. And it's just really opening eyes, opening, to other world realities and how you can help others just by stepping up and serving. Because even all this division that we're feeling in our country, well, it's been going on for centuries in the Middle East, and every single country has the North against the South and the Jones against the Smith. And I think all of our spirit guides and the master teachers are like, you're not listening. You're not getting it. This is not, the love that we speak about. And so there needs to be a lot more people in the tribe that expands, because then you realize that we're all connected, that we're all each other's brother's keeper, and we're all part of the divine plan to move forward. Right?
Yeah.
Especially when you see all different types of past lives, being male and female and different nationalities, and all the lessons that you learn from each different nationality. You've been like a real jerk, and you've been like really, wonderful and pious other times, and deeply religious and whatever, but there were always lessons. And when you really, really know what you know, and you see yourself as different skin colors and different in poverty or very wealthy, and the, what you did, like we're putting on different costumes and different shows, it's with different stories. That's really quite amazing. Then your eyes really awaken to what's really real, I believe. And I believe it because I witness it from different clients through all these years, and I see the change in them when they witness it for themselves. Because it's one thing to have a spiritual psychic tell you, and it's a whole nother ballgame when you feel it, when you experience it, when you see it and know it and hear it, and you're like, just like with your dream, Kai. You just knew it. And Dell, just like you knew it when you met your beautiful wife, is like, love is love. That's the one I'm going to marry.
Took some time, but yeah.
You knew what you knew. That's right. That's right. And it just took some time because you're male.
Oh.
I'm teasing. Is there anything else that that you want me to talk about? Or are we good?
This is perfect.
Yeah.
We've exceeded an hour, and expectations are far exceeded. Deborah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Just want to plug my book.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called No Stone Unturned: How My Special Needs Child and I Transformed Against All Odds. And it's on Amazon, or you can get it at Barnes and Noble. They, wherever, it doesn't matter, or Kindle. And that's it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And where can people find you?
My website is DebraTaubenslag.com. Yeah, I know I should have chosen an easier name, but I'm on Facebook as well. Taubens. Oh, I don't even want to bother spelling it. Taubenslag. It means dove keeper.
Very
Wow.
cool.
Yeah. So I was pretty, and my grandpa was a chicken farmer. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, go figure. That was his name. And I kept it. It's not my married name. I kept it because there's very few of us on the planet. And I just felt it was a special name. So
very.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you had me on, and it helped me a lot too. Thank you. It's like I changed. Somebody told me, when you don't like the story of your life, at any moment you can change your story. So, right before I came on, my son was having medical issues. I was like, and I sat down and I got centered, and this experience with you guys changed my story. Now I'm good. You're right. Any moment we can choose.
Absolutely.
So what moment do we choose? That's right. Okay. God bless you guys. You guys
Thank
are
you.
terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay.